but the Leafs are coming off a loss. They're down 1-0 in their series, and we've been heated. We've been yelling and screaming, and now it's time to get a level-headed analysis, which is what you would expect from Bob McKenzie, our hockey insider. Go ahead, Bob. The floor is yours. Why should we be cool, calm, and collected after last night's game?
Well, I don't think anything I'm going to say is going to talk anybody off any limbs or ledges or anything else. I would only say this, and it was interesting because I had a feeling this would be the case when the game ended. I'm looking at the game, and I'm thinking that's exactly the way the Leafs need to play if they're going to win this series. Now, I recognize they didn't score a goal, and I recognize they lost the hockey game. But I think, and this is just personal opinion, I think that the Toronto Maple Leaf fans, by and large, have a mindset that if the Toronto Maple Leafs shared that mindset, they would get swept like the Tampa Bay Lightning did last year. And that is, we've got the skilled players. This is the fans talking, not me. We've got the skilled players. Toronto Maple Leafs do. We've got the guys that are in the big money. We should be better than Columbus because they don't have the firepower that we've got. Therefore, we should win this series. And when we don't win it, and it's not easy, if the game's not easy, then we must be doing something wrong. And I think there's two points to be made there. Number one, I think you're selling the Columbus Blue Jackets way short. And I know the Toronto Maple Leafs aren't, but I think a lot of Leaf fans are when they see their lineup. I mean, Werenski and Jones might be the best defense pair in the league. And I'll tell you what, the second pair with Savard and Gavrikov, that's a really good top four. You know, better than the Leafs' top four, I would say. And when you look at their skill level up front, they're sneaky. They're sneaky skilled. I mean, Atkinson's a good hockey player. That Texier, these guys can protect the puck and they can play a puck possession game even though they're not game breaking in terms of their offensive ability. So that's number one. Is I don't think people give the Blue Jackets enough credit for the kind of team that they've got, and they're also, as a team, they're number one again defending the rush. I mean, this is an elite defensive team, not a good defensive team. It's an elite defensive team that, quite frankly, the Leafs don't match up well against because the Leafs are a rush team and nobody defends the rush in the NHL better than the Columbus Blue Jackets. So all that's number one. Number two, the Toronto Maple Leafs played a game last night that I think was way outside their comfort zone, and I thought they did an outstanding job with it. That is being hard on pucks, winning battles, boxing out the Blue Jackets almost as much as the Blue Jackets boxed them out. And there's so very, very little to choose by the end of the game. And what decided the game? What decided the game was a bad goal by Freddie Anderson. And it's not fair to say that about him because it's true, but it's not fair to say it because he was so good and made so many good saves, especially where he got the toe out on Bjorkstrand. That was an unbelievable save. Just as Korpisalo made an unbelievable glove save on Austin Matthews. But I think this series, whichever way it goes, is going to be a lot more of the same and needs to be more of the same. Otherwise, I think the Leafs are going to fall into the same trap that the Tampa Bay Lightning fell into last year, thinking, hey, we're the skilled offensive team. Let's blow the doors off these guys. You aren't blowing the doors off the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're too good defensively. And so I think you've got to get outside your comfort zone. And I was impressed the Leafs were able to be as patient. And do they need to try and create more offense? Of course they do. Does Marner need to be better? Does Tavares need to be better? Yeah, sure. All of that is true. But it's not going to be easy, and I think Leaf fans deep down think we should beat this team. They're not that good.
Yeah, well, I think you're right about that, Bob.
Good.
They are that good, but they're not Boston either, and they're not Washington.
And I think I'll tell you what, they played Boston after they knocked off Tampa last year. They played Boston really tough. Like a lot of people forget that. They just look at it and say, well, Boston went to the Cup final and Columbus was, the Cinderella story. They knocked off Tampa in the first round and then they bowed out to the Bruins. But along the way, and I talked to some people in the Leaf organization because they went back and they looked at the tape, obviously, of what Columbus did to Tampa last year. But they also looked at what Columbus did with Boston and how well they played them. So, yeah, they're a good team. But You're right. I mean, Leaf fans are right to feel like they need more from some of their best players. But in overall style, temperament, and approach, I got to think they got to keep trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if Sheldon Keefe is preaching that. You know, I hope that they've committed to a game plan that they've been working on for 3 or 4 months, and they're not just going to throw it out the window after one game.